Hello, colleagues, esteemed faculty members, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is an honor to present the commemoration of my doctoral research proposal titled The Impact of Sanctuary Policies on Immigration Enforcement in United States. In the next 15 to 20 minutes, I will guide you through the major component of my research, providing a comprehensive overview of the design, rationale, and anticipated contribution to the academic literature and uh, the academic world in general. As mentioned, the title of the research is Impact of Sanctuary Policies on Immigration Enforcement in the United States. This is to understand the intersection of immigration policies among the national government and other subnational authority are focusing on the three states of California, Texas, and Florida. And this dissertation is designed, is structured in a way to cover the entire five chapter of a normal dissertation, which encompasses chapter one, which is an introduction, literature review, methodology, result, discussion, and conclusion of the dissertation. Of course, introduction being the beginning. As expected, this is the beginning of the research, whereby the subject matter is going to be introduced by digging deep into the subject matter, thereby bring into discussion the analysis that showed if and how local law impart cooperation between local authorities and federal immigration enforcement agencies. Also, this is the part where the purpose of the research is made clear by addressing the interplay between the sanctuary policies, federal immigration enforcement, and their broader social, economic, and political implications. The next is the research question. The research question evolved as the central guiding force that defines the specific focus of this study, which clearly outline what I intend to discover within the chosen topic. Like I said, the impact of sanctuary policies on immigration enforcement in the United States. We're focusing on three states of California, Florida, and Texas. Doing so, therefore, will help me in shaping the direction of the research. Uh, the data that we collected from this analysis and ultimately the conclusion will draw throughout the dissertation process. And the major question and sub-question in this research include how sanctuary policies influences the effectiveness of federal immigration enforcement, and what are the broader implications for communities and crime rates and governance. The significance of the topic is very important because no doubt this topic, sanctuary policy, enjoys a national debate status and remain a highly controversial subject anywhere in the United States. And therefore, debate has thrown up a lot of several unanswered questions, which has provided a fertile ground for academic research and academic work and research. The implication of the projected data from this research is expected to provide insight into policymakers and balancing immigration policy that inculcate the policy position of both national and those of the subnational in the United States of America. Therefore, the existence of a gap on the subject matter will be filled for a deeper understanding of both direct and indirect impact of the sanctuary policy will have the contribution to this research and its contribution to the academic work. The literature review, this research should be um, focusing on the following area. The original, uh, the origin of sanctuary policies will be thoroughly looked at and researched. We're looking at the papers that has been written, books, journals that have been written on this thoroughly. Another one is crime and publicity safety, legal framework and federalism. Then look at the gaps in the literature, whatever that is the gap, or that is no more relevant to what is currently obtainable. Of course, the impact of the immigration enforcement, which it has these two components of prospective component and critic perspective, will be looked into thoroughly. And the conceptual framework in this study will encompasses federalism and local autonomy, community trust and policing, enforcement redistribution, public safety impact. What theoretical framework, this issue of federalism and local autonomy will be thoroughly analyzed, while I dig deep into the community policing and social trust. Of course, the variables in this study will encompasses both the independent variables and the dependent and independent variables. The dependent variable in this section, this is where a binary variable of the present or the absence of sanctuary policies is analyzed, and the jurisdiction is classified as either the sanctuary or non-sanctuary jurisdiction throughout the research. Also, the intensity of sanctuary policies, which are graded on the premise of the restrictiveness of local ordinance, will be thoroughly analyzed, which might include the cooperation with ICE and the information sharing limit among the law enforcement agencies of both the national government and the subnational government. The dependent variable, dependent variable will be addressed variables such as the federal immigration enforcement metrics, community trust indicators, public safety metrics, and federal resources allocation of redistribution of ICE field operation to non-sanctuary jurisdictions. The methodology, mixed method approach of quantitative and qualitative analysis will be employed in this study. And the data source for the this study will emanate from the statistics from FBI Uniform Reporting Program, immigration enforcement data from DHS and ICE, interview with law enforcement officials, community leaders, and policymakers. For my analytical tools, I will be making use of regression analytic and comparative case study method for this analysis and throughout this research. My findings are this research is designed to add the impact on the federal immigration enforcement, community level impact, and public safety. The impact on federal immigration enforcement, these findings is to find from the correlation we reveal if this sanctuary policy impact a decrease or an increase in the federal arrest in certain jurisdiction. Equally, it will be determined whether there has been any redistribution of enforcement effort or not from statutory jurisdiction to non-statutory jurisdictional area in all the states we'll be looking at. Furthermore, evidence from that will be generated from this research will it give evidence in support of any challenges and counter by ICE or not, if there were any impediments in the assessing local detention facility and their database. These are all the factors we are going to thoroughly research in and act it. Community level impact. On the community level impact, data will reveal whether sanctuary policies foster improved relationship between immigrant communities and local law enforcement or not. Also, it will be expected that to be revealed from the data generated, either in support or otherwise, is the discussion on the effect of sanctuary policy regarding the fear reduction on crime reporting among undocumented immigrants. This is we want to know, and we cannot know unless we thoroughly do the research and analyze the data that will come from the field. Moreover, the data that will be generated during this research is expected to reveal a level of sense of safety exhibited by the conviction of belonging by undocumented immigrants in the sanctuary jurisdictions in all the states we'll be looking at. And public safety findings. Data generated will either support or reject the hypothesis of linking sanctuary policies to increase crime rate in the sanctuary communities that we are going to look at compared with other non-sanctuary environment. Also, the research will be exploring to know if policing efficiency has been affected in any way. The local enforcement authority, gauging their focus on immigration rather than community policing duty because of the sanctuary policy, instead of concentrating on their primary role of being policing work alone that is devoid of immigration enforcement. Like I said, the case study we pick and focus on sanctuary communities across several states, notably in California, Texas, and Florida, that has a long-standing sanctuary policies with those with minimal sanctuary policy. We look at all of them together and generate enough data that will to give us information of what is applicable in this circumstance, particularly related to the subject matter. In other broader implication of this policy is on the centralization of the immigration enforcement, which will be deeply explored and supported by empirical data. At the same time, the current and ongoing litigation about federal preemption versus the local autonomy will be thoroughly analyzed, while economic impact will be equally analyzed within the perimeter covered by this subject. The limitation. As expected, we are not expecting that the whole data will be available to us. We might run to some issue where I might run to some issue where I will have an incomplete data, or that I might not be able to be access some data on undocumented population and generation risk brought about by difference in the enforcement practices across jurisdictions. The difference between the enforcement from different jurisdictions is going to have a lot of effect on the limitation I will have in generating my data for this project. And in conclusion, information I will be gathering from the study will form the basis for this research conclusion. If and how the sanctuary policies significantly influence immigration enforcement and community dynamism. The facts will either agree or disagree with the position that the policy is polarizing or improving community trust and public safety with or without increasing crime rate. The fact that the data will tell us this fact, uh, and we cannot get the fact unless we have all this data generated across board efficiently and effectively. And also arising from the data, appropriate suggestion will be offered to future policymakers on how to focus on balancing enforcement with social cohesion and justice. In my this research I'm embarking on, I consulted a lot of books, a lot of journals and publication, amongst which are Basilos B 2024 work exploring the impact of immigration and non-policing in the Latino community. Also is the Congilas and Congila. There are 2000 works on unauthorized immigration. Um, Last but not least, among others, is the Economy and O'Brien, their 2020 book, Sanctuary Cities. These are many more books and uh, journal that I consulted during this course of my research. There are so many of them, but I just mentioned a few. I want to thank you all for having your time with me to listen to my presentation. Of course, this is just a summary. This is not a detail whatsoever. Um, and I'll be glad if there's any question that I need to answer, that I need to show more light on. In this regard, I'll be glad to do so. I want to say thank you once again for having your time to be with me in this program. Thanks so much. God bless you and remain blessed.